We met in the most ordinary way. I was working as a freelance architect at the time, bouncing from city to city, job to job. And then came Portland. I only planned to stay for 6 months. On the second week there, I walked into a quiet bookshop looking for something to kill the evening. That's where I saw her for the first time. A woman with auburn hair and a voice so calm it made the world feel quieter. Her name was Anna, or at least, that's what she told me. Fast forward 12 years, and we were married, had 2 kids, a home, 2 cars, and a whole routine. She made life feel steady, predictable, warm. You know that feeling when you come home and someone's already boiled water for tea, and your favorite music is playing softly in the background. That was her. That was Anna. And I, like a fool, never once thought to question anything. Never asked too much about her family, because she said they were gone. Never pushed when she changed the topic. We build these little worlds with the people we love, and we tell ourselves they're real until something cracks. For me, the crack began with a box, a dusty, unremarkable cardboard box buried deep in the back of our garage. It had no label, no markings, just one line written in red marker, "Do not open." At the time, I laughed when I saw it. Thought it was one of those jokes she used to make, but she wasn't laughing when I asked her about it that night. Her eyes changed. She reached for the remote, said she was tired, that we could talk tomorrow, but we never did. She left 2 days later to visit her sister, said she'd be gone a week. I didn't plan to open that box. I swear to God, I didn't. But something inside me started whispering. What do you really know about her? What don't you know? And most terrifying of all, what if this life isn't real? That's when I opened it. And what I found inside didn't make me angry. It didn't make me sad. It made me question reality. I carried the box inside and set it on the dining table. The kids were at a sleepover, the house was quiet, and the rain had started, soft and rhythmic against the windows. I sat there for a while, just staring at it. I think I was hoping it would give me permission, a sign, something. But there was nothing, just the box and the silence. I cut the tape, slowly, carefully, like I was disarming something. Inside were stacks of old notebooks, folders, a few envelopes, and a photo album, the kind with plastic covers and yellowing pages. I flipped it open, and from the very first photo, I knew something was wrong. There was a girl, about 22, maybe younger, with short dark hair and a wild, restless smile. She looked like Anna, but also not. There was a confidence in her posture Anna never had. There was something louder about her face. She was standing on a sunny street next to a man. Tall, tan, broad shoulders, cigarette behind one ear. There was writing on the back of the photo. Maria and Danny. Austin, 1997. My first thought? She has a twin she never told me about. But the more I looked, the more I knew. It was her. It was Anna, or Maria, or whoever she was. The exact same scar just below her lower lip. The same tiny mole near her right eyebrow. You don't fake those things. I looked through the rest of the album. Beaches I'd never seen. A brown and red 90s pickup truck I'd never heard of. A group of friends I'd never met. Her smile in those pictures. It was different, bigger, bolder. I almost didn't recognize her until the last page. It held a single newspaper clipping taped in place. It was faded, but the headline was still clear. Local man disappears after bar fight. Last seen with girlfriend. I read it 3 times. The man's name was Daniel Reyes, 25 years old. Disappeared without a trace. The article said police were questioning his girlfriend at the time, Maria Cortez. They even had a sketch. It wasn't a perfect likeness, but I saw it. The shape of the jaw, the arch of the brow, the resemblance to Anna, unmistakable. I sat there for what felt like hours. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at that name, Maria Cortez, trying to make it fit inside the person I thought I knew. The woman who sang lullabies to our children. The woman who made soup when I was sick. The woman who kissed me like she meant it every single night. Had she killed someone? Or was she running from someone who did? That night, I didn't sleep. I paced the hallway, listened to old voicemails she'd left, studied her handwriting. I began to replay our entire relationship in my head, over and over again. What had I missed? Were there signs, little lies I'd chosen not to see? And why? Why would someone start a whole new life, unless the old one had burned? The next morning, I dropped the kids off at school and sat in my car. For 10 full minutes, I just sat there, staring at the dashboard, my fingers resting on the steering wheel, afraid to move, afraid that if I did, if I started digging, I wouldn't be able to stop. But something inside me had already shifted. I couldn't unsee that name. I couldn't pretend that life was normal. So I opened my laptop, typed 5 words. Maria Cortez Austin, 1997 missing. The first page of results was thin. A few old message boards, a genealogy site, links to paid records. But then I found a digitized copy of the Austin American-Statesman from June 1997. Same photo, same article, same name, Daniel Reyes. I read every word like it was a sacred text. According to witnesses, Daniel and Maria had gotten into a loud argument at a local bar. They left together. She returned alone. He never came back. Police questioned her for hours. She claimed she walked home alone after he stormed off. There were no signs of a struggle, no blood, no body. Eventually, she was released. Case went cold. I searched for follow-up articles. There weren't many, just the same photo resurfacing every few years on local crime shows. A mention on Reddit. A conspiracy podcast with a 40-minute episode titled The Maria Vanishing. And then something else. A scanned photo from a college yearbook. Southwestern University, class of 1995. Maria Cortez, psychology major, honor student. There was a quote under her picture. The best way to erase a story is to write a better one. My skin turned cold. That wasn't just a quote, that was a warning, or a confession, or both. I tried to pull public records, court docs, address history, social media, nothing. After 1997, she simply vanished. No death certificate, no marriage license, no trace. I stared at the old photos on my phone, the ones I'd taken of the album. I zoomed in on her face. It was Anna. There was no denying it anymore. But then a thought hit me, one I hadn't considered until that moment. If she changed her name once, how many times had she done it before? And more terrifying, what if I wasn't her first fresh start? What if I was her third or fourth? My breath caught in my throat. The woman sleeping next to me for 12 years. Who else had she been? She came back on a Sunday evening. The sun was setting, golden light pouring across the living room as she opened the door, arms full of groceries and leftovers from her sisters. She smiled the same way she always did. She kissed me the same way she always did, and I smiled back, but inside, I was screaming. I kept waiting for her to crack, for her to slip, to ask about the box, or the photos, or why I looked like I hadn't slept in days. But she never did. She went back to cooking, folding laundry, watching her favorite shows at night. She held me when I couldn't sleep, unaware or pretending to be, and every time she touched me, I wondered if those hands had once taken a life. I tried talking to her, casually at first. "Did you ever travel in your 20s?" She smiled, stirred her coffee, said, "Not much. Mostly Oregon. I wasn't very adventurous back then." Lieutenant. I'd seen photos of her at a beach in Corpus Christi, smiling with beer in hand. A friend hugging her. Someone named Lana. She told me she'd never known anyone named Lana. Another night I asked, "Did you ever know someone named Daniel, back in the day?" She blinked, just for a second, then shook her head. "Nope. Why?" "No reason. Just a weird dream I had." Another lie. Every word that came out of her mouth felt like a rehearsal. Every sentence, a carefully placed stone in the wall she had built around her past. And the worst part? She was perfect. She still packed the kids' lunches with little notes inside. She still rubbed my shoulders when I looked tired. She still laughed at my dumbest jokes. She was, by all accounts, the best wife a man could ask for. And yet, I couldn't look her in the eyes for more than a few seconds, because now, every time I did, I wasn't seeing my wife. I was seeing a mask made of memories and warmth and years of routine. And I didn't know what lay behind it anymore. I started avoiding her, pretending to work late, spending longer hours in the garage, watching her from a distance, trying to catch her slipping, a name, a glance, a twitch, but she never did. She never cracked, which made it worse, because it meant the mask wasn't breaking. It was her skin. I couldn't live like this, half believing, half doubting, looking at her in the morning and wondering, did she ever tell me the truth at all? Was our entire life a costume, a story she was acting out until the credits rolled? One night, the kids were staying at my sister's. The house was quiet, no distractions, no excuses. I made dinner, lit candles. She looked at me, surprised. "What's the occasion?" I smiled. "I just want to talk." We sat down. She poured the wine. We ate slowly, politely, like strangers pretending to be married. Then I pulled the photo from my pocket, the one of her and Daniel. I laid it between our plates. For a long moment, she didn't move, didn't even blink. Then she said quietly, "You weren't supposed to find that." Her voice didn't tremble. She didn't look away. She just sat there. "So it's true?" I asked. "Your name is Maria?" "It was," she said. "A long time ago. I felt like I was underwater, like the world had slowed, thickened. I asked the question I'd been rehearsing for days. Did you kill him?" Silence. She stared at the flame of the candle, as if it held the answer. Finally, she said, "I don't know." My breath caught. "What do you mean you don't know?" Her voice cracked for the first time. "We fought. He hit me. I hit him back. I ran. I didn't look back. I never saw him again. Maybe he left. Maybe he followed someone else. Maybe he died out there. I don't know." Her hands were shaking now. She kept them in her lap, like she was trying to hide the guilt from her own fingers. "And you ran," I said. She nodded. "I changed my name. I moved. I became someone else. I wasn't trying to deceive you. I was trying to survive." That night I didn't sleep in our bed. I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, listening to the clock tick like a bomb. Every second felt like a choice I didn't want to make. Leave, stay, tell the kids, stay silent. What do you do when the person you love most might be someone you should fear? And still, part of me wanted to forgive her. Part of me wanted to believe that what we had, the 12 years, the memories, the love, was real. But how do you trust someone who doesn't even trust themselves? She didn't cry. She didn't beg me to forgive her. She didn't try to convince me of anything. The next morning, I came downstairs, and she was already dressed, a small suitcase by the door. The kids were still asleep. She looked at me gently, like someone who was about to leave. Not just a house, but a whole life. They don't need this hanging over them, she said. They deserve to grow up without looking at me like you do now. I wanted to stop her, say something, anything. But I couldn't. My mouth wouldn't work. My legs wouldn't move. She kissed me on the forehead. Not like a lover, like someone saying goodbye to someone already dead. She walked out. No tears, no drama, just silence. The house felt hollow after that, like her absence had a weight to it. The kids asked questions, of course. I said she had to go away for a while. I didn't lie, but I didn't tell the truth either. I told myself I was protecting them. In reality, I was protecting myself from seeing disappointment in their eyes, from watching their innocence dissolve like mine had. At night, I sometimes sat at the kitchen table, holding that photo, Maria and Daniel, frozen in time, a smile that didn't belong to me, a history that wasn't mine to know. I imagined what her life might have been if things had gone differently, if Daniel hadn't hit her, if she had stayed, if she had confessed, if she had trusted me from the very beginning. The hardest part wasn't losing her. It was knowing I never really had her. It came on a Tuesday. No return address, no name, just a plain white envelope tucked inside my mailbox. The handwriting on the front stopped my heart. I recognized it instantly. The gentle slope of her R's, the way she always dotted her I's with a tiny diagonal slash. I stood on the porch, holding it like it was made of glass. Inside, a single folded sheet of paper, one page, no greeting, no apology. Just this: I don't know if I'm guilty, but I've always felt like I am, not just because of Daniel, but because I never gave you the whole of me. I gave you what I thought you could love, a version of me that never bled, never screamed, never ran in the dark. But the truth is, I did all those things, and then I became Anna because Maria couldn't survive anymore. You didn't fall in love with a lie. You fell in love with what was left after the lie. Tell the kids I love them. Every day, in every way I know how. Please raise them without my shadow, without the weight I carried. Let them be light. Let them be free. And as for you, you were the only peace I ever knew. I just wish I had been brave enough to deserve it. That was it. No signature, no address, no promise of return. I read it 23 times over the next 2 days, sometimes out loud, sometimes just mouthing the words in the dark. And then one night, I sat by the fireplace with a match. I stared at the flame, and I thought, if I burn this, it's over. But if I keep it, she never really left. I didn't burn it. I folded it back up, tucked it into the photo album, and put the album back in the box, sealed it. And this time, I wrote on the lid, "Do not open." People ask me if I miss her, and the answer is yes. But the truth is, I miss the version of her I knew, the one she built for me, the one who sat across from me every night, smiling like she belonged in this world, like she believed in it. I don't know if she's alive. I don't know if she's okay. I don't know if I'll ever hear from her again. But I do know this. Some stories never end. They just go quiet. This was mine, and now it's yours.